Hey, Lockie, this is our first ever live show together.
I know.
I just want to make sure you're up for this. Are you feeling nervous?
I'm a little bit nervous. I mean, that performance though, look, I mean, if they can't perform in the West Indies, maybe I can have a free one on my first go as well. So let's see how we go.
All I can say to you is don't screw this up as much as Australia just screwed up that run chase in the West Indies even. Roll the bumper. Hello and welcome to our very first timed out that is being not broadcast. Well, yeah, broadcast live here on the Sporting News YouTube channel. Thank you, Lockie McCurdy, for joining me again. We've been in different lounge rooms in New South Wales watching Australia absolutely make a complete hash of a chase against West Indies. Yeah, it was looking so good, and then it wasn't looking so good.
Look, we've got so much to talk about, but that was it was one of those matches where it was feeling comfortable. We had it under control, and then one wicket brought upon another wicket, and suddenly it just disappeared. And yeah, look, let's just get into it because I need to get stuff off my chest. I need to talk about this because that was just...
Okay, well, we'll get some stuff. If you've got something that you would like to get off your chest,
yes.
Do remember you can send us some comments or questions in the live chat as well. We very much want to make you a part of this show. So do drop those in the chat, and I should have time to at least look at a few of them. Okay, you've got your timer ready?
Yes, and of course we're cutting it down because it's T20 cricket, 90 seconds each.
90 seconds each. So our first topic up, you're going to have to time and answer as well.
Yep.
Hazlewood fires on his T20 return. Absolutely brilliant bowling from Hazlewood. And I think what was really nice was he was so tight in those first overs as well. And yet when he came back at the death, he was so tight in that last over, just that one sort of slightly loose ball. It wasn't really a bad ball, but it being put away. And I guess that was quite interesting for me to see how Josh Hazlewood do that in taking some really key wickets. They didn't go for him as much as perhaps you think they possibly should go for Hazlewood. He's not a bowler who has, loads of tricks and lots of variations up his sleeve. Even in T20, he's still very much that line and length and those Yorkers that came in at the death as well. So that was quite interesting to me. I'm not sure if that's going to work against every team. I think some players might move around a bit and make him a lot more uncomfortable. The West Indies batters didn't do that, and they paid a bit of a price. So it's quite interesting for me because Hazlewood has always been a bit unfashionable for T20 cricket. Brilliant test bowler, not seen as someone who really can pull out all those tricks. But certainly today, that was a precision sort of performance by him. When you looked at his pitch map, it was almost like a test pitch map for Hazlewood.
There's your 90 seconds up. We've gone the classic for a reason.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess for me on that one, I just thought I still cannot believe, I'm still not over it. 2 years ago, Hazlewood was not picked for that one-day World Cup in England. I'm never going to be over that. But I think this kind of shows just what he can bring to that T20 format. I mean, in his first 3 overs, I think he had something crazy like 16 dot balls out of 18 deliveries. Like he only had 2 balls in his first 3 overs that weren't dot balls. It's quite remarkable, really, when you think how good that is in T20 cricket against a team like the West Indies, who are known for taking on those power play overs quite hard, quite early. So, yeah, I think it just goes to show that he's got a lot to play for in this series, that he could really cement himself in that T20 World Cup squad. Because while Australia's certainly lacking a death bowler per se, if you can have a bowler who's going to get through your 4 overs really early and cheaply, that's a massive boost. And I guess especially, I was kind of surprised they didn't just bowl him out. I mean, obviously he did well in that death over, but yeah, I mean, it was a perfect performance from Hazlewood and kind of showed up some of his other bowling rivals there. I thought Stark definitely he'll be better for the run. He needs to work on some of those death deliveries and finding the length, because he was just bowling it into Andre Russell's slot there. But yeah, I think overall for Josh Hazlewood, that was a fantastic way to sort of announce his full return to T20 cricket and really indicate that he wants to be a part of this World Cup squad later this year.
Yeah, that's it was pretty interesting. Well, maybe they kept him back for the death just to see how he would go as well.
Yes.
Good opportunity. You almost finished early. You're like Australia batting. You just went too hard, too fast.
Got my timing all wrong.
Left yourself time at the end. It's a metaphor for the Australian innings. And I could just say, look, I've got to bring in a comment there from Nick Savage. Hello, Nick. Would love to know your thoughts on Ben McDermott. Another failure for him today. Should Langer persist with him? I mean, I think that they will persist with him as part of this 10-match sort of build up to the World Cup. I reckon that they'll give him another few goes. Yeah, it wasn't great for him again today. But look, that they went to so much trouble to get him to come back to Australia, as they did Dan Christian, to then join the camp, quarantine, join the camp, and then go to the Caribbean. So I don't think they would do that unless they really had some faith in him. So if you're going to invest that much in someone, I think the signs are that they will persist with him a little bit. What do you reckon, Locke?
I think so too. I think he'll definitely get a bit of a run of games at least. But for me, the interesting kind of comparison there could be someone like an Alex Carey, who, yes, he's in the squad as a wicketkeeper, but he's more than capable with the bat, and he can play well in T20. So if there's a spot there around that 5-6 mark that needs filling, he could be brought in as a specialist bat. Obviously, Ashton Turner's in the squad as well. He's another one who is kind of a bit low on form and a bit low on runs. So I'd be picking Carey as a replacement for McDermott before I'd be picking Turner. But yeah, I think McDermott, he's going to have a bit of a chance to kind of prove himself. But yeah, today was not his day.
To be fair, he wasn't the only one who didn't handle that well. Thanks. Thank you very much for that one, Nick. Now let's move on for our second timed out topic. If you've got your stopwatch ready, Dre Russ fireworks. Well, all I can say is I'm not the only one out there, because people were tweeting me saying exactly what I was thinking is, how is this Andre Russell's first ever T20 international?
Absolutely ridiculous.
And it is absolutely ridiculous. That my mind was blown by that. So that was pretty interesting to me to see him bring that up with a 6 that, like, I think I put out there, it went for about 538.72 meters. It was a huge hit. But for me too, that was some of those shots, those sort of flat bat shots he played down the ground. That was it was just pure muscle skill as well. But the way he muscled the ball down the ground with those flat bat shots, I thought was really impressive. I must say, he was given a bit of a hand by Mitchell Starc, bowling very full. If you're going to bowl full to Andre Russell when he's in that kind of mode, then I think you're actually going to get pummeled. And I can see a comment there from Harman Bajwa saying, what's ailing Starc? Well, what's ailing him is I think he hasn't played much T20 international cricket for the past few years. He really hasn't played a lot. And he spoke about needing to find rhythm in the T20 form when he spoke to media before this series started. So perhaps, that was what was ailing him. And a batter like Dre Russ just took full advantage of it, and it didn't look like it was easy to bat out there, especially those first 10 overs, and he just came in and just he did make it look easy at that point.
He certainly did, and I thought it was really surprising, just kind of the lack of consistency with which Australia bowled at him. Like, each bowler seemed to have a different tactic with how they bowled. I thought Dan Christian, my man, who I've got a little shrine for back here, who will feature throughout this T20 series, I needed to get that in. Yes, I thought he kind of showed his around the wicket bowling at the legs, and kind of made Dre Russ have to step on the brakes a little bit with some of his strike rate and some of his big hitting. But yeah, you're right. I think Mitchell Starc in particular just got punished for not bowling the right line and length. And I think it's something we could see more of this series, that middle order of the West Indies is very dangerous if you don't concentrate for your whole 20 overs. And I just feel bad for the match referee. They would have had more to do in that match than McDermott going back and forth, getting new balls onto the field.
There were so many balls that were lost between Dre Russ and then Mitch Marsh later on. I don't even know how many they went through, but it was a lot.
It certainly was. But yeah, I think Dre Russ, again, incredible that that's his first sort of 50 in T20 cricket. And it kind of shows that it's really going to be important for West Indies to just get him up the order a little bit, because for so many occasions he's been batting at 6, 7 and just hasn't had that time in the crease. And kind of similar to what we've seen in Australia with the likes of Glenn Maxwell, Marcus Stoinis, where we just go, oh, they needed more time at the crease. And if the West Indies can figure out a way to get him more time in the crease, if he's in form like this, he's going to be a very dangerous player in the next couple of months.
Yeah, and the next couple of months leading into the T20 World Cup. There is the duck of doom, the duck of doom. All right, time for our next topic coming up, and it is Australia review madness. Like, so just take me through it, Lockie. I'll allow you to go first this time, because I think all of us at the time were just going, what the hell has just happened there? It's like Australia have gone for a double play in baseball.
It was just bizarre, wasn't it? I mean, obviously, Hetmeyer hit on the pads, kind of like, looked like it was going down leg, big appeal from the Aussies, but they weren't sure. Bit of a mix-up there between standing captain Nicholas Pooran and Hetmeyer. Pooran is left stranded after a lovely bit of work from Josh Felipe, and yeah, it's sent upstairs by the umpire to check whether he was run out. In that process, as far as we can tell, Aaron Finch has also sent the decision, the LBW non-decision, upstairs as part of a review to kind of get Hetmeyer out. Looking at the footage, obviously we're here in Sydney, Australia, so we can't tell, but looking at the footage, it seemed pretty clear that the umpire went straight upstairs for the run-out decision before Finch would have had any chance to kind of review the decision. But still, there must be that 15 seconds review timer that is still in play to make sure that if the Aussies wanted to get that review in, they had to get it in before that timer was up. So while it was being sent upstairs for the run-out, we're assuming that Finch has also gone, all right, we'll review the decision just in case the run out was not out, because otherwise, if it was given not out, they probably would have lost their chance to review. I think that's about the only explanation I can see that makes sense. Otherwise, they've gone for a weird sort of baseball double play, try to get both batters out at once. And I respect it, but I don't think that would have quite worked.
I don't know. I think, good timing that time. I don't know. Like, I kind of like the thought of the old double play. I think that could actually be quite exciting. I mean, in the end, they burned that review, and I suppose it's one of those things that sort of seemed madness at the time when you were thinking, what on earth? Why is he doing that? But it was just a complicated oddness of the situation and the sequence of the run up and the referral by the umpire for the run out. And then that clock's still ticking at the same time. So I suppose for Aaron Finch, he probably didn't have time to even consult with the bowler or the keeper about the actual LBW review and whether they thought that it was hitting or missing, because there was celebrations, there was, players walking off, there was all sorts of things going on. So it was kind of just a period of complete chaos.
It really was.
I like that. But
T20 is all about chaos, isn't it?
But wouldn't they have been really annoyed if then there had been an opportunity in that game to actually get a wicket on review? I can see one there. Gopal Bhagavatula saying, Mel, you have to admit at long last Aaron Finch is a bad captain. Ooh. No, I don't, Gopal.
No.
I don't have to admit that at all. I don't think they played well today. They had their tactics wrong. I don't think that's all on Aaron Finch. I think he's done a pretty good job of leading Australia for the past few years. So, and he's a good bloke who gives great press conferences. So, I
thought he got his bowling choices all right today. I thought in the field he did everything he could. His fielding placements were good. There were some obviously good catches. And I mean, anytime you limit the West Indies at home to under 150, I think they've done a really good job in the field. Obviously, their batting let them down, and I guess that's kind of what we're about to go in with our next topic. Finch was one of those who just didn't have a presence with the bat today. But no, I wouldn't say his captaincy is under any sort of pressure at the moment.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now let's bring up our next topic. I like this. Now we've gone for Walsh destroys Australia again, whereas we probably should pay more homage to Obed McCoy. And McCoy absolutely bowled brilliantly. I just know that you, Lockie McCurdy, wanted to say Walsh destroys Australia again. And to be fair, The two of them, you had McCoy with those back of the hand slower balls, and you had Walsh Jr. bringing out the googlies seemingly perfect timing every time in the execution. But also Australia, it was like they thought they only had 15 overs to get the game finished. Like they were they lost their last 5 wickets for 10 runs. We thought they were cruising. We thought Mitch Marsh was going to get them home. And Aaron Finch afterwards, when I was listening to him, he did say, that they wanted to be more aggressive in the middle order. So that's obviously a tactic that Australia have planned for them. But he also admitted they needed more batting smarts. And that's what was like, they could have done it in singles, man. I was screaming, take a single but it was like they were going to smash their way to 4. So that's where the whole, this is the team plan to be more aggressive in the middle order, but also being able to play the game situation and go, hang on, it hasn't been that easy to bat here. And there are a couple of wickets falling. So maybe this is a good time to just feel the rhythm of the game and just ride it a bit more, because at the end it was just they tried to smash their way as quickly as they could. I don't want to take away from the bowlers though, because, I do think they bowled brilliantly. I just think Australia played into their hands in the way they batted. And also you've got to give a shout out to the West Indies fielding as well, because that was brilliant. Your turn, Lockie.
I've got a lot to get off my chest, so let's get this 90 seconds started. That middle order collapse was absolutely shambolic, and they would know that. It's not telling them anything new. The fact that they were bowled out for 127, 18 runs was the West Indies, what they eventually won by, and there was still 4 overs or 24 balls left in the match is absolutely ridiculous. If they were struggling, it was the 19th over, 20th over, you could understand. But the fact that it got to the point where I think there was almost a 2 over or 3 over gap between the runs needed and the balls required, and if you were going to run a ball, and they still couldn't get the job done, I think was really disappointing. I mean, obviously Mitch Marsh, fantastic innings from him. His first T20 half century, the first time he's batted at number 3 for Australia, kind of shows that that's a good spot for him. But his dismissal, caught and bowled by Walsh, that was when he needed to put his head down and go on with it. Yes, you can go, he was the standout batter today, but he'd be thinking as well, he needed to close out that innings after he got the start that he did. Josh Felipe couldn't get settled. He'll be fine for the run. But again, that middle order position for him is up for debate. Moses Enriquez, 2 sixes off his first 2 balls and then gets out quickly. He just needed to knock the ball around for a bit after that. Ben McDermott, we've kind of spoken about. He needs to take an opportunity. This guy here behind me, Dan Christian, 10 off 12 balls. That shot he played to get out, just caught by Bravo on the boundary. So disappointed. He needed to take his opportunity. And look, it shouldn't have come up to the bowlers, but Agar, Stark, and Zampa can all hold a bat. They should have just knocked it around. That is my 90 seconds.
Do you feel better? I feel like this is therapy for you, and it's good.
I am glad that the next match is only tomorrow, that we can kind of push this aside and forget about it quickly, because how did they lose that, Mel? How did that happen?
Well, I can see some comments there from Menners, our friend Menners. Hello, Menners. Who agrees, absolute shocker from the middle, and says Marnus or Smith needed. Well, yeah. And that Christian missed a huge chance to impress. It hurts too much. I was all set for him to hit the winning runs. Damn it.
We really thought he was going to do it.
We did. The point about Marnus or Smith, I mean, yes, it does bring us back to the fact that Australia are missing a lot of their best players. But do remember that Smith has also indicated, according to some interviews, that he's really looking at perhaps prioritizing the tests. That's going to all be an interesting story that plays out, I think, over the next couple of months, just to see whether he does go to the T20 World Cup or not. Aaron Finch has made it clear he's going to get all the best players. If they continue to struggle with the bat, and then this is just the first of 10 matches, so it's a long way away before we can sort of really point a finger. There are lots of other batters to come in, and it may be a case of, if they are seeing that there are holes there and they're not able to sort of fix that up, then that might increase the pressure on Steve Smith to play in the T20 World Cup.
I think so. I mean, looking at this side, you've got 3 certainties that I'd say are definitely coming into this team. You've got Warner up the top. I think it's been pretty clear from Justin Langer and Finch during the week heading into this T20 series that the top three is going to be Warner, Finch, and probably Wade. I feel like they're kind of set on that. Wade probably less so, but definitely Warner and Finch opening, and probably Wade. If he can do more innings like today, I think he locks up that 3 spot. Then at 4, you probably, in a full strength scenario, you look at someone like a Steve Smith, I think. I think that is his best place in T20 cricket. And then below that, you've got a whole heap of all-rounders to choose from, but I think Glenn Maxwell is definitely going to have to be there for a T20 World Cup. Then you've got Moses Enriquez and Mitch Marsh and Marcus Stoinis, all probably competing for that 1 spot at number 5.
Dan Christian.
Well, I reckon he's got 6 or 7 nearly locked up.
6 or 7, he is, yeah. I reckon he does.
But, yeah, I think those 5, 6 spots, if you want to make runs on this tour, because there's some serious talent knocking the door down who could easily push you out of that side.
Well, at the moment, there'll be a lot of, I guess, soul searching and looking back over that game and just working out what went wrong. Although I think they know what went wrong. It was that middle order, really, and the way that they pushed too hard. Look, so thanks to everyone who came on and dropped in some comments. We're going to do this at the end of each of the matches during this Australian tour of the Caribbean. So please watch out for us on Twitter, subscribe to the channel and look out for those notifications, because then you can come and join us, and we'd love to have you here, and we'd love to hear from you as well. So that's it for today. Let's do it all again tomorrow. Let's do it all again tomorrow, and we'll see what it brings. So thanks, Lucky, for joining me. Thank you all for joining me, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.